away.
Did you just see that? Hi, my name is Jesse at Trash Panda, and this week I'm going to work on gaining distance on my forehands. When I started playing disc golf 12 years ago, I was forehand exclusive for a while and got pretty good, but there was one problem. My buddies and I were freshmen in high school, and all we cared about was who could throw the farthest, but eventually my distance just hit a ceiling. So I started throwing backhand. And for the next 10 years, my backhand distance improved drastically while my forehand distance just shrunk. The moral of the story, my forehand distance needs help, and this week we're gonna work on just that. So today is day one, and I'm gonna go out to a field and throw a handful of max distance shots. From there, I'll study my form, watch some videos to learn what I'm doing wrong, and make a plan for the rest of the week. And if everything goes well, by day 7, we'll throw farther forehands. Okay, there's 3 things we need to talk about. First off, my max distance is 331 feet. Now don't get me wrong, that's a good distance, but it's not where I want it to be. So my goal for the end of the week is to throw 400 feet. It's a stretch, but with the right tweaks, it's possible. Second, it looks like I'm doing just about everything wrong. My buddy Robbie recently made a video about improving your forehand distance, and he said that you shouldn't crank over on overstable discs, which is exactly what I was doing, but rather lean towards more neutral to understable discs. Now currently, I wouldn't even consider throwing an understable disc forehand. And logically, I totally know better than that, but it's just a result of my bad habits compounding over 10 years. I mean, I don't even want to tell you what I threw my max distance with. And the third thing, I've never really thought about the intricacies of forehand form because when my buddies and I started playing, there weren't really any YouTube videos. So we just threw a bunch of stuff at the wall to see what would stick. Ergo, I want to spend some time working on the intricacies of forehand form as taught by some of the forehand masters in our sport. So here's the plan. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on disc selection. On day 3, my hands. On day 4, my feet. And on day 5, my hips. On day 6, I'm going to take a rest day because I'm only human. And finally, on day 7, we're going to attempt to put all of the helpful tips together and throw 400 feet. Let's do this. So based on my buddy Robbie's video and this incredible helpful video from Eric Oakley, today I'm only really working on disc selection. And based on their suggestions, I've got slower speed and understable discs. And honestly, these are all discs that I would have never forehanded before today. Well, after changing nothing but the discs, I can already see a massive improvement. And I think the lesson here is twofold. First, throwing an understable disc is a much easier way to get distance. But I already knew that, which kind of leads to the second lesson. Some bad habits just compound over time. And over the last 10 years, I guess that I've just slowly thrown more overstable discs forehand and slowly lost distance. So trying things like I'm trying this week are great because they're definitely pointing out my blind spots. And already by changing the disc and nothing in my form, I'm already seeing improvement, so I can't wait to see how the rest of the week goes. Alright, today we're working on the hands, and specifically we're looking for eagle hands. In Eagle's sidearm clinic, he talks about completely loading the wrist back to generate more snap and speed. And from my first 2 days, I can see that I'm loading my wrist pretty well, but I've never intentionally thought about that, so there's really only one way to find out. Alright, I'm just gonna quit while I'm ahead because this one is not working for me. Now yes, Eagle can throw a sidearm much further than I can, so I'm not at all saying it's a bad tip, but rather I think it's just something that I already do pretty well and maybe it's not the most efficient use of my time. I will say that the one thing I'm taking away from this is that when I threw putters and mid-ranges, they came out super smooth, so today wasn't a total bust. Alright, today is all about the Nate Sexton hop. If you haven't noticed Nate Sexton's run up during his forehand, he talks about it more in length in this video. And I've been watching him for so long and had no idea. Now I thought it was super weird at first, but he talks about it like someone who plays outfield in baseball, and that kind of piqued my interest, so today we're gonna give it a try. I kinda hate it, but it's honestly working. I mainly hate it because it's going against over 10 years of muscle memory, but I also can't deny that the discs are definitely going farther. To be honest, I'm not sure I'll adapt it, but I'm interested to see how it combos with tomorrow, which is all about the hips. Maybe they'll be redundant, maybe they'll build on top of each other really well. I have no idea. Needless to say though, Nate Sexton's hop, definitely worth a try. It feels weird, but it's worth a try. Before day 5, I want to give a huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Skillshare. If you're not already familiar, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people. From topics like entrepreneurship to video editing to marketing, Skillshare is the perfect place for the lifelong learner. It's super affordable, the classes fit your schedule and skill level, there are absolutely no ads, and new classes are added all the time. For example, I recently took the class Storytelling Through Film with Thomas Daher, who is one of the main editors for the YouTube channel Yes Theory. Because I'm always looking to improve my storytelling, this class piqued my interest and it did not disappoint. I took notes on how to edit an effective hook and how to design creative thumbnails, but maybe the most impactful was how he explained his editing arc in general, what he calls the 5-act story. And as a self-taught video editor, I am so grateful to people like Thomas for providing the resources to allow me to explore my creativity. So whether you own your own business, want to grow your social media following, maybe want to start a YouTube channel, or all of the above, I can't recommend Skillshare enough. And because they're sponsoring this video, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description can get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, and you can start exploring your creativity today. Thanks again, Skillshare. Alright, it's day 5, so let's do a quick little recap. On day 1, we figured out my max distance and what my main problems were. On day 2, we solved maybe the biggest problem, disc selection. Then we worked on loading up our wrist all the way, which was fine. Then our footwork, which was really interesting. And today, we're working on the hips. In this video, Sarah Hokum talks about loading up your hips to generate as much power as possible. And I haven't talked about this much, but my standstill can go almost as far as my full run-up. And my hypothesis is that I'm not really engaging my hips in my full run-up. So today I'm going to start out standstill and then try to translate that to a full run-up. I may still try the Nate Sexton hop, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I think it's time for a full run-up and making sure I'm squaring my hips off perpendicular to the target. We'll see. That just went farther than every day, and that was on hyzer the whole time. Without a doubt, 400 is gonna happen. Outside of day 2 working on my disc selection, today was by far the most improvement. I kid you not, my drives that were kind of shanked and hyzered the whole way went as far as my drives on day 1. Clearly somewhere along the line I started not using my hips, and wow, I am so glad I did that today. I think the most interesting thing from all of this is that yesterday's tip, trying the Nate Sexton hop, was actually probably engaging my hips a little bit, which is why they were going farther, but I really liked using my normal run up more and just thinking about engaging my hips. Clearly that worked super well, and after a rest day tomorrow, it's game over. We're all warmed up now, and I have a really good feeling about this. Let's get it. Woo! Well, UDisc says 393 and I'll take it. Honestly, 400 was kind of a stretch, so to even be that close feels unreal. On top of that, I learned some things that were super helpful this week, and I have some initial results that I'm gonna double down on and continue to work on. For example, I think I found a few stable discs that I really enjoy throwing forehand, so I'm gonna continue to work with those. And I'm going to continue to work on engaging my hips even more. But as these things go, the best tip is probably different for you. So I'm gonna make a follow-up video where I test out all of your tips. Needless to say, if you have a tip that helped you throw farther forehands, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to support the channel, and we'll see you next time.